being able to be in the moment and experience everything around you. That's definitely the advice I would give myself.
When they say it goes by quick, I didn't actually believe that, but it really does.
I can still remember playing football with a penny loafer in 7th grade in the courtyard, and now, we're thinking about college.
It can be the best 4 years of your life, but for the lucky students of the Brother Joseph C. Fox Latin School, Kellenberg Memorial has the chance to be the best 7. Those who join the Firebird family early overwhelmingly make the choice to stay, and today 3 of our seniors are here to explain why. Welcome to the Flight of the Firebirds, a Kellenberg Memorial podcast. I'm Mr. Matthew Kirk, Assistant Principal of the Latin School Student Life, serving students in grades 6 through 8 here at Kellenberg Memorial. I am thrilled to be joined by 3 of our Latin School legends who continued their Kellenberg journeys at the high school level and are now just months away from graduation. I'd like to welcome Valentina Colasuonno.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Brooke Oldenborg.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And Miles Abdeldaim.
Hi, great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you guys. It's very sentimental to have you 6 years ago sitting in front of me in cohorts. So to kind of look back and reflect on your time here, both in the Latin school and the high school, I just figured it would be a great opportunity for us to talk about a few things. Brooke, I'm going to start with you first. Thinking back now 6, maybe 7 years ago when you came in as a 6th grader, what was some of the things that intrigued you or brought you to the Latin school in the first place?
Well, I have 2 older brothers, and they came here in the Latin school, so it was kind of more of a natural step for me to go here too. In the Latin school in general, I remember the biggest thing that drew me to it was the animals. That was the biggest selling point that my brothers brought up to me. And I joined Lab Squad in Latin school, and I'm still participating in Lab Squad. Being around the animals, having that is so special and so unique to Kellenberg. So I think that was the biggest thing why I wanted to come here.
That's awesome. And I can say 7 years later, that's still probably one of the big attractions for our Latin school students. What about you, Miles? A little different. You came in 7th grade.
Prior to coming to the Latin school, I toured other schools, and for me, what was important was the diversity aspect of Kellenberg. That open house, it's kind of like a journey. You travel through the whole school, so just seeing back then the library, which has evolved now into the tech center, and all of the teachers, they were just so welcoming and really personal, and they really wanted to get to know me. So that was one thing that set it apart for me.
That's awesome. And Valentina?
So I also came in 6th grade, and when I came, it was more of my mom wanted me to go to Catholic school. I started in public school for my whole life, and it was just more of the step that she wanted us to take. I toured the Latin school 3 years before coming. I've been introduced to here pretty much since for a long time.
So you were prepared. So you started your
Yes.
preparation in 3rd grade for the Latin school.
Yes.
That's great. I'm going to throw it over to Miles. What was some of the first impressions you had as an actual student here in the Latin school, not just looking at the school?
7th grade, COVID year, so everybody had a different experience all around the world, but Kellenberg, we had our cohorts. I was so close to friends and fellow students, and obviously, it took time to really create relationships, but my homeroom teacher, Miss Frolian, she's just very welcoming, and I feel like she epitomizes what Kellenberg is. She really just wants to help you grow in your faith, so that's one aspect that really just jumped out to me.
And what about you, Brooke? You had a unique experience too in 6th grade, kind of the year cut short, 7th grade cohorts, and then obviously all of you in 8th grade moving around again.
I would say initially coming into 6th grade, it was definitely an adjustment coming from public school. Just kind of adapting to the workload and how everything works around here. I ended up really loving it, and then when COVID kind of hit and everything ended up getting shut down, I remember just switching to online, and the whole world's kind of just being from a remote position. Everyone at Kellenberg wanted to get back here, so being in cohorts in 7th grade was more of a time for all of us to get closer. I remember I gained so many friends from my homeroom in 7th grade. It was such a tight bond between all of us. So I actually ended up really enjoying the COVID years in the cohorts. It wasn't a bad experience for me at all. I loved it, but it's definitely great that we get to be back to normal now.
And Valentina?
So in 6th grade, we moved over to online, and compared to other schools, I think that they did it really well. So we still had classes every single day and teachers connecting with us, and we still did our discussions and homework. So I think it really kept us on track. And when we came back, we did the cohorts, and it was a very unique situation, but it was definitely memorable. And I still have friends that I'm still friends with to this day that I met in my cohorts, which is really amazing that I still, senior year, we still are really close. So
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And, I obviously taught all 3 of you, and just thinking about, what are some of the most crucial and important times in a someone's middle school experience, it's the cafeteria, which you guys didn't get in the 7th grade. You guys were eating lunch in the classroom. So to hear those relationships, we hear Father Tom always say, we teach by relationship, and you guys being kind of in community through relationship in the classroom is great to hear. What were you guys involved in the Latin schools? Sports, activities, when things certainly were made available to you? Valentina, I know you were someone very much involved in a lot when you were down by us.
Yeah, so one of my biggest involvements that I was in Latin school that even has trickled now is blue and gold. So I started in 6th grade, and so now I'm going to be a leader senior year, which is really cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm really excited about that, and I've been doing that since 6th grade, and it was one of my favorite experiences here in Latin school.
And what about you, Miles? Were you able to get involved in anything in the Latin school?
I'm a big soccer guy, and when I knew that I could join a team that wasn't a club team, it was just a total different experience, and Mr. Walsh coached it. It was just a team atmosphere that I hadn't really experienced before. We would travel to the bus through to St. Martin's and other schools, and we would play on our nice fields that were just created. So soccer was definitely a big part, and now I'm the captain of the soccer team, varsity. So I feel like my Latin school career kind of helped me set that up. And then my other big activity was SALT, which stands for Service, Allegiance, Leadership, and Teamwork.
Tremendous. And Brooke, what about you?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I was in lab squad, which I just remember always really enjoying going to that every morning and getting to feed the animals. You'd get to take them out and play with them. So that was always just super special to me. And then I also was a member of SALT. I think SALT is what really got me into getting more involved in high school as well. Kind of being able to be a part of the inner workings of the events and helping out behind the scenes. I made a lot of great relationships with other students and teachers too, which I think was important, kind of leading me to where I am now in high school.
All right, so it's almost 5 years ago now, right around this time, the decision was looming in terms of 8th graders deciding whether to stay or to venture elsewhere. So what were some of the things that you guys, conversations at home or conversations with friends or conversations here with teachers, what do you remember from, making that decision and committing yourself to an additional 4 years? For you guys, sounds as though it was almost an excitement to stay here for another 4. So I'll throw it to you first, Miles.
Really, my conversations in the Latin school, I was trying to talk to all my friends, say oh, are you guys staying? Are you guys staying? Partially, I was trying to find comfort in that and being oh, I'll have these friends and it'll just be easier acclimating into the high school. But on the other side, I was trying to gain confidence in myself to be okay, I have a little bit of knowledge of, how Kellenberg works. I know some teachers, I've been in some clubs, so it was an adjustment period and I was kind of anticipating that. And as far as conversations with my parents, they were willing to support wherever I wanted to go, but it was really up to me to go to the high school, and I haven't really looked back since.
Valentina, what about you?
So I started my journey by touring a few schools, trying to decide if I wanted to take the tax exam. And during my tours, I decided that Kellenberg really was where I felt at home most. So it wasn't really that difficult of a decision. I ended up not taking the tax exam, and I just felt like this was really home for me. And that's just how Kellenberg is. It's not really just a school. It's more like a home. So
Beautiful.
That's really what drew me to stay.
And Brooke?
For me, I kind of just didn't even really think about going anywhere else. I just kind of pictured my future at Kellenberg. There wasn't really anywhere else I wanted to be, so I ended up not touring anywhere else. My parents were open to me seeing other schools, but I really had no interest. I thought that I had such a strong foothold here from the Latin school. I knew so many great teachers. I had so many great friends. Kind of going into the high school just felt like a natural next step for me.
So as you guys know, obviously we have one big building here, grades 6 through 12. It is not uncommon to walk into a lunchroom to see cranberry coats with our blue coats and gray coats and our senior sweaters. But having said that, would you say that the Latin school has a very different vibe or a similar vibe to that of the high school? Did it feel the same, or when you guys went into the high school, it felt very different? Valentina?
I think it was very different because so many new people come in freshman year, so your grade triples. And it's just so cool to meet new people, but it also was a little overwhelming for me. But you get adjusted really quickly with AAA, and it really helps you.
Brooke, what about you?
I think it was similar in the aspect that it prepared me well. Coming into the high school, it's just such a broader experience, and you have so much more opportunity in terms of clubs and just, really working your way up, leadership positions, all of that. I was definitely felt like I was well prepared coming into the high school. There wasn't any huge surprises or anything that caught me off guard.
And Miles?
I kind of got my adjustment period done going into the Latin school. at least at first. So I came from public school, and then when I came to the Latin school, I was introduced to the faith aspect of being in school. That was something that I hadn't experienced before at all. So then going into the actual high school, I agree with what they both said. It's definitely your grade triples. A time that definitely takes adjustment, but the Latin school definitely helped me set that foundation because, that culture of welcoming and wanting to know who you are, that carries over into the high school, and it kind of just evolves and gets even better.
That's fantastic. So, Brooke, in actually all of your answers, you kind of stole my next question, certainly a segue. Do you think it has prepared you well for college?
In the Latin school, it was such a big adjustment for me, and that was what I really had to take time for sixth grade, like learning how to study, how to organize my work and homework and all of that. But once you get into the routine of things and you figure out your way, it definitely prepared me well. And I know that I've spoken to a lot of people who are in college now that graduated from Kellenberg, and they said that just the style of teaching here and what they had to do throughout high school was similar, and it definitely helps a lot. So I feel prepared.
Miles?
I think the big thing for me that I learned in Latin school was kind of a formation of my character and as a person. So the Latin school, they kind of, try to mold you in that way where, you're respectful and that every person is, they deserve their respect, and that also teaches you to really work hard, because even my sister, she's coming in from public school, and it's just there is rigor. There's definitely rigor in the Latin school. So just being introduced to schooling like that in a way that I hadn't before, it's definitely set me up for high school and college and beyond.
And Valentina, what do you say?
To go off of what they said, I've also spoken to a lot of people that say that they're really prepared for college, and even coming from a larger high school, I think that also prepares you from being with more people, and also being able to speak to teachers, because they always want to be able to have an open conversation with you, to be able to go to them for extra help, just like in college, how you would go, and just being able to form relationships with people.
That's great. This is maybe a tougher question because it's not personal to you, but what advice would you have for new young students who are coming or considering coming next year to the Latin school?
I would say be ready for a little bit of a challenge. The Latin school, obviously, after you get acclimated, it's a brilliant place. Everybody cares. But before that, it can be really scary to, go to, if they haven't been in a private school yet, they're going to go into a private school. At that, it's going to be a Catholic private school. So really just being confident in your ability to, connect and just succeed, because that's what's going to have to happen. You're going to have to focus on your school. So I would just say be ready and be excited.
And Valentina?
My best advice is to be able to open up to all the opportunities you're given, because you could always just go home and not be able to stay after and join clubs and get involved. But I think that's the best part of being at Kellenberg. If you're not open to that, you won't get the full experience of being here. Obviously, the academics are a big part, but also the faith and the after-school activities is an even bigger part here.
And Brooke?
Kind of similar to what Valentina said, I think my biggest piece of advice would be to take every opportunity that you're given, because I remember I was given so many here. Finding my place in the high school and where I am now, it was a big part of that was knowing the teachers, being able to speak to them one-on-one, and getting opportunities and introduced to things like that. So I think that that's what's going to take it from being just a regular middle school, high school experience to the Kellenberg experience, and being involved in things beyond just academics.
Not to be sentimental, but time is winding down. All right, here you have a few months left here. So looking back on your time in the Latin school and the high school, what are you most proud of being a student here in Kellenberg Memorial? Valentina?
I'm just so grateful to have been given this opportunity by my parents to push me to come here, because I don't think I would have chosen it on my own, but I'm just so grateful that they pushed me to come here and given me all these opportunities to prepare me, and I'm just so excited to see where it's going to take me and where everything I've learned here is going to bring me, especially with getting involved in my faith life, bringing that to where I go next, and especially just all the opportunities I was given with volunteering and for getting involved.
And Brooke?
I think that I'm most proud of all the relationships I've formed, not just with students, but with the mentors and the teachers that were able to be by my side through all of this. That played a really big part for me. It was being able to go to my teachers after school and have a conversation with them. They were always open to extra help or just to talk if I ever needed them. I remember that was something that was very different from the school that I came from. So I think that that's what made the Kellenberg experience so special to me.
So the main thing for me is all the relationships I've been able to build. School, it's a place where you're supposed to work, you're supposed to get your business done. But I mean, even with Mr. Kirk, I still have a great relationship with him. I had him about 6 years ago, but I can still go to him for anything. So that's just one of the things I'm most grateful for is really just building connections and relationships just to, enjoy life with.
Those fist pounds in the hallway for the last
Yeah, for
6
sure,
years.
for sure.
So never missed an opportunity. What would you tell your Latin school self 7 years ago?
I would probably say to be aware of everything around you and take all of the opportunities. When they say it goes by quick, I didn't actually believe that, but it really does. And looking back, I feel like it was just my first day of AAA or almost halfway through senior year and really close to graduating, which is kind of crazy to me. So I feel like just take it all in and take every experience.
Miles?
So I would say something very similar. I would say just be grateful for every opportunity and really just focus on everything that's going on around you, because I can still remember playing football with a penny loafer in 7th grade in the courtyard, and now we're thinking about college. So just really taking everything in and not taking anything for granted.
Kind of similarly, I would say just slow down, make sure you take everything in. It definitely does go by fast, so I guess just being able to be in the moment and experience everything around you, that's definitely the advice I would give myself.
And looking into the future, all right, you guys are unfortunately going to leave the bird's nest in a few months. So what's on the horizon for you, Brooke, next year? What are we looking at college-wise, things that you'll be looking to do over your next 4 years?
I just committed to college, so I'm very excited to continue rowing there, which I was introduced to here at Kellenberg. I would like to carry that into my future, so I'm super excited for that. I look to study neuroscience, which is something that I got really interested in after studying chemistry with Miss Frem. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
What about you, Miles?
So my really target school, my dad went there, is Wesleyan, so I applied there, and I really just hope I get in. And as far as studying, I'm kind of torn between psychology and pure mathematics, just because, I love math and I really want more, rigor and challenge with that, but I'm also really interested in the brain and where I can take that. It's kind of what I'm excited for.
Awesome. Valentina?
So I hope to go to Wake Forest, maybe in the future. We'll see. I have other opportunities also, and I hope to study some international relations or politics because I really like knowing what other people do in other countries, so hopefully I can work in the UN.
All right, it's been great having the three of you here. I just want to thank Valentina, Brooke, and Miles for being with us, not only today, but since middle school, and for choosing Kellenberg Memorial at every opportunity. It has been such a special experience for me as a former teacher of yours to remember you guys so many years ago in Cranberry Blazers, and now to be looking across the room at the three of you in senior sweaters. You were incredible in the classroom for me 6 years ago, and I am so proud. And with you now, I would like to pray to St. Joseph, a saint we know Brother Joseph C. Fox had a great devotion to. So please join me in saying,
Hail, guardian of the Redeemer, spouse of the Blessed Virgin Mary, to you God entrusted his only Son. In you Mary placed her trust. With you Christ became man. O blessed Joseph, to us to show yourself a father and guide us in the path of life. Obtain for us grace, mercy, and courage, and defend us from every evil. Amen.
Again, best of luck to the three of you throughout the rest of this year and in the future. And thank you to all of our listeners. I'm Mr. Kirk, and this is Flight of the Firebirds.